Hello and welcome to ATS1281 Understanding Crime. My name is Dr. Jared Blaustein and I am the unit coordinator for this course, as well as one of your lecturers, so you'll be seeing me throughout the semester. I just want to use this video to cover some of the administrative stuff for the unit, so we don't have to take up class time to do this. So if you just bear with me on this, it'll give you a sense of what you'll need to do this semester to successfully complete and get the most out of this unit. So I just want to begin by saying a little bit about the course delivery. You basically have two forms of contact with us throughout the semester. The first is a 1-hour weekly lecture. There are 3 different lecture slots, one at Caulfield, 2 at Clayton. The purpose of the lecture is basically to provide you with an introduction and an overview of the topic that we'll be covering that week. So because this is a unit on introductory criminological theory, more or less, each week we're going to be looking at a different theoretical perspective or related group of theoretical perspectives. So you'll get an overview of each topic in your lecture, and then you will be expected to go and complete some outside readings, details of which you can find each week on Moodle. And you're going to do this in preparation for your weekly tutorial, which is the second form of contact you'll have with us every week. So in your tutorial, you'll have a tutor, you'll be assigned a tutor, and you'll be assigned a tutorial slot at the beginning of the semester. You probably already have been allocated to one, and you'll show up having completed your readings, having done the preparatory work around the weekly case study, which is used to apply the theoretical perspective we covered that week to a real-life scenario in order to critically analyze it. So you'll show up to your tutorial having done this preparatory work, and then you'll work through a few different activities. You'll have an opportunity to discuss the ideas with fellow students and ask questions of your tutor in order to help get clarification. Your tutor will also be helping you work towards preparing your major essay, which is one of the major assessments you'll have this semester. And I'll tell you a little bit more about your assessments towards the end of this video. So throughout the semester, you're going to be using a core textbook, and that textbook is the 3rd edition of Tim Newburn's Criminology, because frankly, it's the best criminology textbook on the market. It provides very detailed but accessible reviews of the key theories that we're going to be looking at, and it also has some really interesting examples. One thing to note about the textbook, however, is that it is a UK textbook. So obviously, while this is not ideal for the purpose of studying criminology or criminal justice in Australia, many of the theoretical concepts are still very relevant, and indeed the way we teach criminology in Australia, at least from a theoretical standpoint, is very similar to what we focus on in the UK. So because some of these examples may not be as relevant to Australia as they would be if we were based in the UK, as I mentioned before, there will be online case studies that will be available on Moodle each week, and this will include video content, newspaper articles, various artifacts that you'll be encouraged to review before you come to your tutorials. So again, we have you covered right there, but it is an excellent textbook, and it's something I think you'll be able to refer back to in years 2 and 3 if you continue to pursue the study of criminology down the line. What I want to say now then, just at the end of the video, concerns your assessments. So we have a number of different types of coursework that you'll be required to complete throughout the semester. Most immediately you have a series of weekly quizzes. So the quizzes can be accessed in the weekly folders on Moodle, and they will be used to assess your understanding of core academic skills that are introduced in a series of academic skills development videos that are available on Moodle. You'll be able to find the links, as well as your understanding of the core ideas covered in the reading. So each of the quizzes is available for at least 10 days. You can find the overview of assessments that includes a list of all deadlines and the availability periods, as well as the weighting for each quiz and the content covered on Moodle. I'll put the screen up right now so you can just take a look. And I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these in total. So make sure you keep an eye on the deadlines and don't forget to complete these, because once the deadline passes, unfortunately, it's not going to be possible for you to go back and make up the assessment. And that includes even if you have special considerations in play. So it's a time-sensitive assessment, in other words. So just a few kind of final admin points before I shut up and leave you to it. One of the questions we often get from students relates to extensions. How do I get an extension? Am I eligible for one? You'll be able to find all the guidance for this in the unit handbook and on Moodle. But the basic idea is that we are able to grant an extension of up to 2 days at our discretion. This is entirely at our discretion. But you need to apply for this at least 48 hours before the deadline. So as I said before, we can't do this for the weekly quizzes, but if you require an extension, say you've been ill, say you have issues with a family member, whatever the case may be, if you need a 48-hour extension, you need to email the head tutor at least 48 hours before the deadline and submit your request. And it is entirely at her discretion whether or not it's granted, but generally, assuming what you're saying is reasonable, we're also quite reasonable about these things. If you require a longer extension, so an extension of more than 2 days, you need to apply for special consideration through the arts faculty. So that's Art Student Services. I believe they're down on the second floor of the Menzies building on the Clayton campus, or you can email them. I think it's artstudentservices@monash.edu, and they will talk you through the process, and they'll ask you what you need, and they'll probably require some evidence in order to verify your situation to make sure that people aren't taking advantage of the system. So they have a very thorough and reasonable process about that. What I would say is that if you are having any difficulties throughout the semester, you think you may need more time in your assessment, you think you may need special support for your exam, whatever the case may be, don't leave it to the last minute to go and approach them for help. They're very nice people, very friendly, very understanding. Everything they do is in confidence. If you speak to us about anything that's going on, we'll of course treat it as confidential, but don't leave it to the last minute. Go ahead and make your situation known so we can help you as best we can. Alright, just one final point then. This is a very, very large unit. So we have approximately 700 students enrolled in this unit this year across 2 campuses. We have a teaching team. I think there are 8 or 9 tutors overall who will be taking classes throughout the semester. So what this means is that there's quite a large administrative workload around this unit, and there's a lot of email correspondence that we get in particular. So sometimes it can take us a few days to actually get back to you, and we tend to receive emails concerning the same things, including information that's covered in this video or on Moodle or in the handbook regarding things like changing tutorial groups or essay extension, so on and so forth. So before you email us, I would just ask that you go ahead and double check on Moodle to make sure that the information isn't already there, because it just saves us a little bit of time, and it also means that you'll get a quicker response. If you do have questions that remain unanswered, or also if you have any questions about course content, so for example, you would like some clarification about one of the theories that we looked at in class, or you found a really interesting example that fits in with that particular perspective, we also have the forum on Moodle, which we're going to be using all semester. So go ahead and post in the forum. You can post your question, and what we tend to find is that students start to answer each other's questions, but of course your tutors and myself will be monitoring the forum, and we'll be responding to posts throughout the semester. So I think that's the best way to do it. Obviously, if you have a confidential or private issue, go ahead and contact your tutor in the first instance, and they'll help you as best they can. If not, they'll speak to the head tutor and she'll help you, and if need be, they'll escalate it to me. But we'll look after you all semester. Just go ahead and take advantage of the informational resources that are available, and you'll save us a bit of email fatigue in the process. So I think that's everything that I need to cover with this video. Thank you for your time. I'm sure you'll have plenty of questions, so I'll make sure there's time for you to ask them in your first lecture. Your tutors will be available to answer them in your first tutorial. The main thing is come to class next week. I look forward to meeting you all in your lectures, and I hope you enjoy the semester. Cheers!